Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here. So I played in Iceland for 1 year. It was the only place in the world that would ask me to come play basketball for them because my stats were so bad in college. But it was an amazing experience. I love the people and the club atmosphere of having the younger kids all the way up through. Like I saw kind of what you're talking about there. In your opinion, what is good about that model that in our youth and junior high school development model over here, what's broken? And I know that might be a huge question and you could probably go an hour or so, but what are a few things that they're doing right that we're not?
I think the biggest thing, and I think this can be a positive and a negative. I think the biggest thing is, like for instance, with our club, pretty much, they play with our club. And then, our better players will play during the summer with the national team. So, like and so we have players that play on multiple teams, right? So like like this week, we had 2 of my under 16s that played today. They played Thursday night in a second division men's playoff game, right? But I know that because, I'm there for that game, I'm kind of the assistant coach for that team, so I can monitor how much they played and if they need more rest or a day off or whatever, so everything is within the club, the strength and conditioning coach, this quote unquote skill trainer, the multiple teams that they play on, some of my Division I players practice with the pro team, play first division, and then also play under 18s. The rest of my good under 18 players play under 18, and then they either play second division or first division, or some of them play second division and first division in men's league. So, but it's all within one team. So, the coaches work together and we communicate. It's like, okay, well, he played 38 minutes this game. Probably need to give him tomorrow off, right? Like, okay, he's going to get he's practicing with the pro team, but he's not going to get any minutes in this game. So he needs to play 25 minutes, in the first division, so that he's getting playing time.
Yeah, there's communication between
to further his development. So So that to me is the biggest thing because, some of the problems in the States is, like you said, you've got players that play with their high school team and then they play with their club team and then they play with, they work out with their skill trainer. And typically those coaches don't communicate and they kind of fight, for players. Because, if I'm a skill trainer, every hour that you're spending at AAU practice or high school practice is an hour you're not spending with me, and same thing. Every time you're going to an AAU game, you're not there for my high school practice or my high school game or whatever. And so I think there becomes, that kind of battle for players and for, basically their loyalty to a certain extent.
No doubt.
Whereas here, there's no battle for loyalty. We're all working for the same club with the same goal, which is, either, with the younger players, it's develop players for the national teams, and for the older players, it's to develop them into, guys who can play for our pro team, and so, there is a very definite goal. We're all aware, we all have the same goal for the players. And so even though players play on 3 different teams, nobody's fighting, over the player, and we're trying to do what's in both the players and the club's overall best interest, and not just worried about, okay, well, the high school team's important, so we don't care if they miss the AAU team or the skill trainer. Like, it's like, we mix things up, and we know, okay, well, this game, we know we're gonna beat this team, so let's leave our two best players out so that the other players get some more playing time, and that can keep our our two better players can play in more competitive games, or because they're going to get more games with the first division in the men's league, they're going to get more minutes there, and stuff like that. So everything's kind of the biggest thing is just everything's together. It's within one, and it's the communication. Now, I think the disadvantage there is players, like I benefited a lot from playing in a summer league during high school, where the coaches were way different than my high school coach. Yeah. And so, like my high school, we never ran a pick and roll, like my whole high school career, but in the summer, I played 1 year for a guy who was a pro player. And, he was home for the summer, and his summer job was coaching at this, summer league. And so, he's put the ball in my hands. Was like, just you're the point guard. He's like, you shoot it, or you create the shot. Like, that's what you do, And so I got to do that for a whole summer. Whereas with my high school team, they're like, you're the point guard. You dribble the ball up, you enter it to the wing, and then you go stand in the corner, And so I think with the potential disadvantage with everything being within one club is making decisions on players, or having kind of a rigid viewpoint on player, or a player not getting along with that coach, or the coach whatever, but not having any other recourse because that's the coach. And like with our team, like on the youth level, the coaches move up with the players, so you could have the same coach for boys. Let's say 4 or 5 years. And so if you're not the favored player, or if you get on the coach's bad side, or the coach wants to run dribble drive motion, and you're a post player, or you want to learn how to run a pick and roll, or whatever the case may be, maybe you're not exposed to those things. So I think there can be a disadvantage, and again, based on my experience, like, I liked playing for different coaches, and I thought that it brought, different experiences, and gave me an opportunity to do different things. So I do recognize that this environment can have disadvantages, but I do think that the advantages, especially in a club here where, we're trying to develop players and stuff like that, so we're trying to, like, we're trying to figure out for next year, how can we find a big kid? We need a big guy to play with our second division team next year. One, because it'll make us more successful, but two, it's hard to develop pick and roll play and point guards to play in a pick and roll, which they're going to need to do to play at higher levels in Europe, if you don't have any kind of presence inside. And, right now we're looking at the second division team. It's like, well, it's going to be pretty much all wings. We don't have really, we have one kind of big guy but it'll be, 17 years old, 16 years old, playing against men. So, we're trying to figure, well, how can we, bring in somebody that would supplement these players that will help their development, not just because it'll help us win, but it will give us, they'll help takes away, it's why do the Warriors need a center during the regular season when they never play them, during the postseason? It's to take that banging during the season so that Draymond Green is fresh, to do that during the postseason. Right. Yeah. Same idea. Like, part of it is we need a big guy to bang against the other team's big guys so that our 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds don't get hurt, the reality of it.
But I like that balance between what the team needs and what the individuals need. And I think so many times in high school basketball over here, it's just what's our high school team need, and
Right.
forget any development of them individually. If you can, bring those two ideas together more and more, there's definitely some offensive systems that help that over or enable that over other offensive systems. But I like I like the direction that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this. My fiance was here like 2 weeks ago. We played a team, actually the same team we played today, and like I like the way they play. You know, we just have more better players, but they play a really good style. And as I watched them, I was like, and I was talking to her after the game. I was like, I think we would be even harder to beat if I was a little bit more like them, where players had really defined roles, and they could, only, but like I have on a team of 13, I have 7 guys who play point guard, and I don't, you're the point guard. No, like, I don't care. Whoever gets it, go.
Yeah.
And along with that, I'm telling my guy who's, our quote unquote center right now, like when you get a rebound, you need to bust out with the dribble because you're pretty much done growing anyway. So, you need to be a 3.
Yeah.
Next year you need to be 3. You can't still be a 5. Right. So, from a developmental perspective, like, yes, standing under the basket and getting you the ball in the post and making layups is probably the easiest way for us to win, but developmentally, you need to shoot threes. You need to pick and pop sometimes. You need to catch the ball at the elbow and drive, and do these kinds of things and stuff. And, like one of our point guards is, probably going to be, supposedly he's going to be like 6'6", 6'7", and he's our 3rd tallest player on our team right now, or maybe he's the 2nd tallest player on our team right now. But, when he's in, I'm like, yeah, by all means, run the point. Like, I don't care. Like, you need to be able to do this. You're smart enough. You can handle the ball. Like, do it. He's probably leads our team in 3-point attempts as well. Like, yeah, shoot the ball. Like, if I limited these players or, maybe said, all right, well, you're the point guard. You're going to play 30 minutes a game at point guard. You're the backup point guard. You're going to get 10 to 15 minutes a game as a backup point guard. You're the stretch 4. You're going to pick and pop, just shoot threes. I think by now we'd probably be tougher to beat, knowing these roles and having spent all season kind of within these roles. But, that's also me deciding, okay, I have 6 guys who can play point guard. You're going to be it, and so you're going to get to develop as the point guard. The other 5 of you have to find a new position, but when they go for national team tryouts, it might be one of the other guys that they think should be the point guard, and if they missed all these opportunities to get that kind of development, then, maybe they don't make the team or whatever, like I remember trying out for a team, a BCI team when I was young, and, my friend from my team and I went out for the team, and our dads were the 2 coaches, and his dad was actually the head coach. My dad was the assistant that year, and his dad played me as the point guard, and his son was like our kind of, undersized power forward because he was like the strongest kid on the team. But then we went out for this, BCI All-Star team, and he made the team as a point guard because he was fast and physical, and that's what, the coaches wanted, where I was more like the kind of cerebral point guard, passing kind of type point guard and spot up shooting, so he fit what they wanted, and he probably would have been better that summer if he had played some point guard during the season. But, like our coach, his dad, made me the point guard because that was what was going to make our team most successful, but then it held him back when he made the All-Star team and was going to, play, the best players, from other cities and stuff like that. So, so I think we could probably be more successful in terms of, winning games and stuff like that if I did things differently. But we got 7 guys invited to the national team camp at Christmas, and 6 of them made the team. So we had, half the national team at under 16s was from our club.
It seems like so much of those decisions that you make is maybe about what level you're at. I would imagine at the NBA or even, high level college basketball, you better win. And you better just figure out a style of play with your players that helps them to win. But then if you're lucky enough to be kind of at a level like you are, and I think I'm at the same level where, yes, if we're not competitive, then that's my fault. Like we have to figure out a way to where we give ourselves an opportunity to win, but developing players too, allowing them to experiment and try different things. Just because he's a guy 6'5" doesn't mean he has to sit. One of our best shooters right now he's turning out to become one of our best shooters, is 6'5" and really doesn't have that physical bone in his body, but man, he can shoot that thing. Yeah. So instead of forcing him to be something just because he looks like he should be, we're choosing to develop him. But I think that's the you kind of mentioned, that's the choice that we have to make, is development. And if we can somehow kind of fuse it together with also a competitive style, maybe that's the sweet spot. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.